Title: The Snitch Next Door, Part 1. I never really noticed Mrs. Edna Wilkins until she became my personal surveillance drone. She's not a cop. She's not with the HOA. She's just my next-door neighbor, a 70-something-year-old woman with hawk eyes, binoculars on her windowsill, and a notepad that probably has more entries about me than her own grandchildren. Let me set the scene. I live in a quiet suburb, the kind of place where people cut their lawns every Sunday like it's a religious ritual. And the biggest crime in the last decade was someone stealing a plastic flamingo from the Johnsons' front yard. I moved here 3 years ago for peace and privacy. Silly me. Edna was polite at first. One of those old ladies who bakes pies and watches crime dramas on cable. The first week I moved in, she brought over a rhubarb pie and told me, "I like to know who my neighbors are." I thought that was sweet. I didn't realize what she actually meant was, I like to know what my neighbors are doing, all the time. Especially when they're up to no good, which is always. Our uneasy alliance lasted maybe 2 weeks. The first time she snitched on me was over something minor, trash bins. I left them out a day past collection because I'd been on a trip. The next morning, I got a passive-aggressive note taped to my front door. Anonymous, of course. But I could smell the lemon-scented arthritis cream on the paper. "Please respect neighborhood sanitation standards," it read. I looked across the street, and there she was, standing behind her curtains like some suburban gargoyle, peeking through the blinds. Strike one. Then came the noise complaint. I was having a barbecue with a few friends. A casual thing. Some burgers, some music, nothing crazy. It ended by 10 p.m., but the next day, a visit from the neighborhood committee. "We've had a complaint about excessive noise and smoke." And just like that, I was on the watch list. I confronted Edna the next day, politely. "Hey, did my little gathering bother you?" She smiled with the tightness of someone who's been holding in a confession but is also proud of it. "Oh no, dear. But you know how sound travels. Just looking out for everyone, right?" Strike two. But it wasn't until the Great Hedge incident that she really declared war. I have this hedge that runs along the fence between our houses. It had gotten a little wild, sure, but nothing offensive. I was planning to trim it over the weekend, but on Thursday morning, I woke up to the sound of buzzing shears. There she was, Edna, in my yard, in a pink bathrobe, hacking away at my hedge like it had insulted her family. "Edna." She froze mid-snip, looked at me like I'd interrupted her mid-prayer. "Oh, it was blocking my view. I couldn't see the mailbox properly." "What mailbox?" She gestured vaguely toward the street. There wasn't a mailbox within 20 feet of the hedge. I wanted to yell. I wanted to call the cops, but I just stood there, stunned. I think that was her real power. Not that she tattled, but that she did it so calmly, like she was doing you a favor by wrecking your life. After that, things got petty. I bought a motion-activated sprinkler. She wore a rain poncho and kept coming. I put up security cameras. She adjusted her binoculars. I started calling her the warden to my friends. It stuck. Then came the moment that tipped the scale. I had just gotten a new package, delivered some speakers for my home setup. I came home to find the box open on my porch. Not stolen, not moved. Opened. The tape was sliced clean. Inside, the speakers were still there untouched, but the seal was broken. I marched over to Edna's door. She answered like she'd been waiting for me, holding a cup of chamomile tea, smiling. "Did you open my package?" She didn't flinch. "Oh, I thought it might have been misdelivered. Just making sure it wasn't something dangerous." "Dangerous? What do you think I'm ordering, pipe bombs?" She sipped her tea. "You never know these days." That was it. I was done playing defense. That weekend I installed a privacy screen on my deck, taller than code allowed. Within 24 hours, I had a notice from the city. "Neighbor complaint. You already know who it was." So I started keeping a log. Not out of pettiness, but for documentation. That's what I told myself, at least. Every snitch, every complaint, every weird moment. I kept it all in a leather-bound notebook I started calling the Book of Edna. Here are some of the highlights. March 12. She called animal control on my dog, Muffin. 4. Barking aggressively at a squirrel. April 4. Reported me for improper lawn edging. Yes, lawn edging. April 29. Knocked on my door at 6:45 a.m. to let me know one of my car tires looked slightly deflated. May 3. Left a hand-drawn map of the neighborhood in my mailbox with suggested quiet zones. My house was outlined in red. I started to suspect she had a full dossier on me. Maybe a folder labeled with my name. Maybe even a corkboard in her attic with string connecting all my alleged offenses. But then, something changed. One morning I saw her struggling with her trash can. It had fallen over, and she was trying to lift it, but she couldn't get it upright. I watched from my window, sipping coffee. I knew what I should have done: go help, be the bigger person. But I also remembered the hedge, the package, the false reports. I sighed, set my mug down, and walked outside. Need a hand? She looked up, surprised. For the first time, she seemed small, vulnerable. Oh, I guess I do. These bins get heavier every year. I lifted it easily, set it upright. There. Thank you, dear. She paused, then added, I know I can be a bit protective of the neighborhood. Understatement of the century. It's just, she continued, after my husband passed, I needed something to focus on. Watching things, keeping order, it gave me structure. That hit me. I didn't say anything, just nodded. We stood there a moment in silence, her hands resting lightly on the lid of the trash can. Then she said, but you're not so bad. Bit loud, but not dangerous. I gave a short laugh. Thanks, I think. That was the first civil conversation we'd had in months. But don't get me wrong, the truce didn't last. 2 days later, I got a complaint from the HOA about mysterious humming sounds after 9 p.m. Guess who? Edna. Strike one again. To be continued.